Einstein time! Hello!
I am Logan and I'm applying to be a freshman RA.
I'm Darcy Hill and I'm also applying to be a freshman RA or SLA.
Hi, I'm Allie Winnesdorfer and I'm applying to be a freshman RA.
Hi, my name is Katie Yoakum and I am applying to be a freshman RA.
My name is Elisa Wright and I am applying to be a freshman RA.
Okay, let's get to read it.
Do you want to read out loud?
Yeah, sure, I got it. So, imagine you are a member of the RA SLA selection committee. Your current task is to choose 2 teams, each with 2 RAs and 1 SLA from the candidates listed below. You may want to very quickly read through the candidate list on your own to get an idea as to who you think should be hired. Then collaborate with the others in your group as a selection committee to arrive at a consensus regarding the candidates upon which you all agree. Do your best to arrive at a consensus. A simple majority vote is insufficient. It may help you to make boxes such as those below. Please start the timer and begin this activity.
Okay, so 13 minutes on the timer.
All right. So I think we should start with making the
Boxes.
So do we just want to start going through each person individually?
Yeah, I feel like we don't have enough time to read it.
Yeah, so you can hear everybody's input as well.
Okay, so let's talk.
Start with
Teresa.
Okay, I can start.
Yeah.
She's 22. She's a 22-year-old female, junior, currently a member of student government, a business major from Malibu, transferred this year from LMU after taking 1 semester off to work for a political campaign and applied for RA only.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So she's older.
So, yeah, do you want to do maybe a pro and con list of each person that we go through? Also, okay, do you want to split it male and female?
Yeah, so do the females
Okay,
first.
so, yeah.
So Teresa.
Perfect.
I like that she is a transfer.
Okay.
Because she can connect with other transfers, but that might also put a damper on her experience because she hasn't had her own Pepperdine RA herself.
Okay, yeah.
That's true.
She's
She's also coming to school with fresh eyes, which I think is kind of important, especially for transfers.
Yeah.
They're all experiencing it at the same time.
I think also though, maybe a con of that is because she is a transfer and she's new to Malibu. She's not completely familiar with more the policies of Pepperdine. Everyone knows coming in what to expect, but I feel there's certain things that could be a bit of a shock to her, and it might be kind of hard for her to lead a group of residents when she herself is new to the to the area.
True.
Okay. Next is Yi Wen, 18-year-old female, first-year student, very little involvement in campus activities. RA recommends her highly, has a 3.5 GPA for first semester, enthusiastic, and has connected with all of her residents in her building. Applied for RA and SLA. So does this mean she's applying to be next year RA?
Yes.
First
Yeah.
year.
She'll
Okay.
be a sophomore.
Guys, I kind of love Yi Wen.
I
I think
love
she's so cute. I love the fact that she, she's known for being enthusiastic and has connected with the residents in her building.
Yeah.
I think that's so important. And maybe I'm a little biased because I'm super blah, but
Yeah.
I kind of love that, and I think that could be really important in a position of leadership in housing because she'll be able to connect with her own residents when she is in a position of power.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I really like how her RA recommends her highly because I think that's showing that somebody in that position already is thinking oh yeah, she could totally do my job and has observed how she could compare to being an RA herself.
But because she has little involvement, that concerns me because an RA is supposed to encourage all the freshmen to get out and experience Pepperdine and engage in the community there. But that's not saying that she wouldn't do that.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just saying
She has a lot more free time to talk to them too.
That's
Yeah.
Which is good because you don't want to get too overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be
House
super
community.
involved.
Mhm.
Yeah.
House community is really important.
Yeah,
That's true.
Events in the house
Yeah.
too. So.
Exactly.
All right. Next up is Sue.
Sue.
Let's talk about some Sue.
Okay, I'll read Sue's. 20-year-old female junior, former high school homecoming queen, devout Catholic, a sports medicine major, and pre-med, 3.2 GPA, serves in campus ministry, has recently broken off her engagement, applied for RA and SLA.
Okay, I think she'd be really good either way because she's really like devoted. Like she
Yeah.
broke off her engagement. She's learning about herself,
Mm-hmm.
and then like the Catholic perspective too.
Yeah, that could make her a good SLA
Definitely.
because she's not only coming from one perspective, but she's
Yeah.
open to many.
And
she's like, sorry, you go.
Oh, no, okay. And she also serves in campus ministry, which is, I think, super important if we
Yes.
decided that she would be an SLA over an RA.
She would be a good pick.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
Okay.
Like, I think Sue could be an incredible potential SLA. I think,
Yeah.
given the fact that she's devout in her faith, she's really strong in it, and the fact that she's involved with campus ministry is a big plus for Sue.
Definitely. And she can get her residents like involved in campus
Yeah.
ministry
That's
Yeah.
really
as an
good.
SLA, which would be really good.
Okay, let's read about Hope.
All right.
Lisa.
19-year-old female, sophomore, biology major, 3.6 GPA. Last summer worked at Camp for Children with Different Abilities, on probation for her first semester for possession of marijuana. Currently involved with KCM Club and co-led a small group on the Catalina sophomore trips. Applied for RA and SLA.
Okay.
So,
This is a tricky.
yeah. So she's currently on probation, which is kind of a red flag
Yeah.
almost immediately, but she's also done a lot of like really good
Reputable things.
like service projects, and her GPA is amazing.
Yes.
For biology.
Yeah.
I think, okay, I know I keep like being the bad cop, so to speak, but I'm gonna just talk about like my negative impression of her really first, because I think like it's incredible that she's so involved. But I think that the fact that she was on probation her first semester for possession of marijuana like shouldn't be looked lightly, because she is gonna be in a position where like
She has to judge.
she may be put in like extremely uncomfortable situations, and like her friend may be in possession of alcohol or marijuana, and she would definitely be more understanding because she's been there, but like that's something that's really big in Pepperdine's mission, so I feel like that.
And she might be a bad role model to the residents too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like if they found out that she did that and then she gets them in
Yeah.
trouble,
Yeah, that's
that would
true.
look really
Like what you did it
that'd be
too.
really
That's
hard.
a really good point.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
Okay. So
Rebecca.
She's a 19-year-old African-American female, sophomore, active in BSA, and helps coordinate Word Up. Helps her SLA lead small group for her hall, no previous work or formal leadership experience, very soft-spoken, highly recommended by RA, 3.0 GPA biology major, applied for RA and SLA.
she's also highly recommended by her RA, which is awesome.
Mhm.
And like how she helped lead small groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that shows like she wanted to be involved like when she was a resident
Exactly.
and not just in a
Yeah.
position of
I
authority.
agree with that.
And she's also kind of had the experience of like leading residents, even though she was a resident herself,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
is really cool that she kind of comes in with that knowledge if she were to be selected.
She's very involved in
I think,
that.
Yeah.
I think she's a great candidate. I think she's awesome.
Yeah.
She does have no previous work or formal leadership experience,
Yeah.
which I feel like the fact that she's led her small group kind of maybe could make up for that in a sense,
Yeah.
because she may not have like formal leadership experience, but leading a small group is a big deal, especially
Yeah.
to step out in front of
For
your peers
sure.
and like lead them closer
Yeah.
to God. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So
So
shows that she's committed.
I really like
Yeah.
Rebecca. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
So
she's soft-spoken, so she's probably a really good listener.
what would you see? You're
right.
Look at you. I love it.
Okay.
What would you say for Rebecca if you were to give her a position? Because
Let's
SLA.
say SLA.
Yeah.
Because Word Up and being actually leading an SLA group would be a great experience for that. So.
That is true.
Most definitely.
Okay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and say kind of my thoughts, and then we can maybe share like who we
Yeah.
would think as possible candidates. So I think maybe Yi Wen as an RA, even though she's young.
Yeah.
Sue as an RA, and then maybe Rebecca as an SLA, but I'm kind of torn between Rebecca and Sue as far as which one would be RA, which one would be SLA.
Sue definitely would add kind of like a diversity when it comes to religion on campus, and and it would be, I think it would be kind of cool to see somebody that maybe like isn't what our school's like faith denomination is to like do so well and to lead her residents down that path.
I think that's a good point.
I think Rebecca's lack of leadership experience shouldn't affect her ability to lead in a position like an RA. Because she's had experience in coordinating Ward Up and active in BSA. So that shouldn't affect like whether or not we think she can lead.
I think that's a great point. Okay, so maybe do you want to say Sue as an SLA, Yi-Wen, and then Rebecca as RAs?
Yes.
Look at that, guys. I'm proud about us. Rebecca, Sue. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's move on to Team 2.
Yeah, and that leaves Hope in our
Hope and
Teresa. Okay, let's move on to boys. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
Okay, Carl, do you want to start?
Yeah.
Logan.
Logan's surprise.
He is a 23-year-old male, ex-Marine, business major, very organized and structured, places high emphasis on discipline, very active in student government, conscientious and reliable, talks over others frequently, attends the well weekly, and helps set up such data. Applied for RA and SLA.
Two things that kind of are red flags are the talks over people frequently, and also emphasis on discipline, like high emphasis on discipline.
Yeah, it might cause some disagreements.
And just like residents not wanting to like connect with him because they're
open up with him.
You don't really want to feel like you're a drill sergeant.
They'll probably like hide from him a lot more. Too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bandil?
19-year-old male international student from South Africa. Has been in the United States for 1 year. Has a heavy accent. Involved in a multicultural club and the hall community. RA noted a few roommate conflicts he worked through this year, but still recommends him. Applied for RA and SLA. What do we think of that? A little big red flag?
Yeah. A little big one.
Because roommate conflicts.
Yeah.
If you can't get along with the people that you lived with who are your own age, are you supposed to get along with people who are younger than you because you might feel like you're at a higher position than them?
Yeah.
And you're also going to have to resolve roommate conflicts yourself.
Well, and it also, when it says he worked through this year, does that mean that he worked through the conflicts himself? Because that would kind of be maybe an experience that he can help like with other residents.
Well, that is
having
very
a
true.
conflict.
That's very true. And I think the fact that he is an international student could be helpful for other international students, because we do have a ton of international students. I know that can be like really hard on them because they're not only like far away from home, but they're in a completely different country. So like there's culture shock and stuff.
He can sympathize with them with that, and he can also, if he did work through those conflicts, he can also help them and like guide them through like what he went through and how he did it.
Let's talk about Kevin, guys. So Kevin is a 19-year-old male, sophomore. He's a baseball player. He has a 2.7 GPA, very involved in athletics. Past reputation of being a partier, now a student worker for public safety, and as a result has had confrontations with other baseball team members. Applied for RA only.
I would say no.
His involved in athletics means that he will probably be taken. Like a lot of his time is taken by that. That's huge.
And it definitely, you see how it affected his GPA.
Yeah. And education and like your classes come at a really high priority. Like regardless if you're an RA or SLA. And it seems right now that he's already struggling with that. So then added the like extra position of an RA. I think.
And he also had trouble with the other baseball team members.
Right. Yeah. Okay. You want to read about Scott?
Yes. Scott, 20-year-old male junior, sociology major,
Yep.
known to frequently attend parties, quite rowdy in the hall as a first-year student, in charge of philanthropy for his fraternity last year, and very connected to PPC, applied for RA only.
Okay.
Let's see.
I don't think just because he was in charge of philanthropy means that he would stop partying.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing thing,
Mhm.
and he's good at organization
Yeah.
and putting together events. But being rowdy and partying as first year as a freshman, that's also goes back to maybe he would be more lenient with his residents being rowdy and partying.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Which
And
would
also the thing of like, if they found out, then they might
Yeah.
also be
Yeah.
like, you can't get me in trouble for this because you're the same way. Not
Yeah.
take him
Yeah.
as seriously,
I
which
think
would be
that's
hard.
very true.
be last one.
Is Jamie.
Okay. 20-year-old male, psychology major, 2.49 GPA, engaged to be married, well-versed in campus resources, not involved in activities, highly recommended by RA, and very respectful of others.
We love that. He's very
Mhm.
respectful, highly recommended. That's awesome.
I like Jamie.
I like
Yeah.
Jamie too. I think the only red flag would be his GPA.
Yeah.
It is a little low.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that he's well versed in campus resources and is highly recommended by his RA, I think speaks volumes for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think he could still be a very good resource. So what would you see for Jamie? Because I think I would probably give a position to Jamie.
I would say
I'm torn between Ben Deal and Jamie for SLA because Ben Deal has had roommate conflicts, so he might be a better position for SLA.
That's true.
Because he doesn't have to
Yeah.
deal with that much confrontation, but more of like emotional support, spiritual support.
Yeah, that's a
Agree.
really good point.
Yeah.
So
It might be a little hard for Jamie to be an RA since it is like really time consuming and he is already kind of struggling with his academics, but who knows, he could be like super encouraged this year and want to be a role model for
Yeah.
his
I
residents.
think I could see Jamie as an RA.
Yeah.
Van Deal
Yeah,
Yeah.
as an SLA.
And Carl as the other RA?
Yeah. That is so hard.
That's really hard.
But
He's
if Jamie is an SLA, he's
Oh, but Carl attends the well
RA.
a lot.
yeah.
So he might be a good
Well, and like
That
he's
was
also
and they
involved in
might
campus
balance each other
administrative.
out
Yeah.
really well, which would be
Mhm.
good.
so maybe we do Ben Deal as an RA and we give Carl an SLA because even though he is really strict, like he won't be in a position where he like would be punished. But
Yeah.
at the same time, people might not want to open up with him because
Agreed.
he
Yeah.
talks over others frequently.
Yeah.
This is a tricky one.
But I do think
This is a
Carl
good one.
and Jamie would balance each other out as RAs.
Yeah.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. So Carl as RA, Bandila as SLA.
And Jamie is RA.
All right. So are we ready to present? Do you want to kind of like split up how we're presenting?
What's our time right now?
Yeah, it's 18:32.
Yeah. Let's
So we
present.
have 2 minutes to
Yeah.
present.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go.
So starting with the girls team, we could each take a person.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's just and
Yeah,
we
go
can
around.
explain why we didn't choose other people. We can just
Yeah.
take turns. Okay. So
Oh,
Let's
I
present.
want- okay, well, I want to talk about Rebecca because I love my girl Rebecca.
yeah, you got it. Let's go. Let's
We picked her for RA because she seems excellent in leadership. Even though she hasn't had formal activities, I think it's a great opportunity for her to further that and get more experience.
Definitely.
Her GPA as a biology major is super impressive in that regard, and I think she'd be a great candidate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we picked for RA because she is a first year student, so that means she's really fresh and she had just had her experience with her RA, so she would be able to remember all the good things of her RA and apply that as well. She's very enthusiastic and connected with the residents in her hall, which means that she'll probably most likely connect with her freshman residents as she has had good experiences in the past.
All right, good. So lastly, for our staff team 1, we chose Sue to be an SLA. We really liked the fact that Sue not only had a really high GPA, but she's devout in her faith, even if it isn't Church of Christ. She's devout in like what she believes in. She also, the fact that she's recently broken off her engagement shows that she's learning from her mistakes, and she's able to take things that weren't working in her life and kind of fix them. And I feel like that could really be a valuable resource to students who may be struggling in their faith and not know what to do, because she has a lot of life experience even in her 20 years. So.
Nice. Okay, am I talking about Hope now?
Yeah.
Okay, so we did not decide on giving Hope a position. She has an amazing GPA. She has great, service projects that she's done. But the one thing that really stood out to us was her probation for possession of marijuana, which can really hurt her in the position of being an RA, for her residents to be able to respect her if they find out that she was given this probation and then she tries to get them in trouble for that. That could just be really conflicting. And so we didn't choose her because we want her residents to respect her.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Teresa had a lot of good qualities about her, but the other ones just stood out a little bit more, I think. And she does have leading experience from the government, but it just didn't stand out as much, I think.
Okay. Staff team 2.
Yes.
We selected Jamie because his connection to campus resources and his high recommendation from his RA, and his respect for others. He seemed like he would be a very good complement to Carl as an RA because they would balance each other.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Bandil since you were the big supporter?
So we chose Bandil for SLA because although he did have kind of conflicts in the past with his residents, he most likely would be better in an SLA position, not having to deal with major confrontation, but more emotional and spiritual support. He could provide that for the international students because he is one himself, and also be a good voice for them, for non-international students, to see where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so RA, I'm going to keep this super short and sweet. We chose Carl. We really like the fact that he is very active in student government. He's organized and he's structured, and he has a high emphasis on discipline, so he wouldn't shy away from making the tough decisions, even though that could be seen as a weakness in some ways. We also thought the fact that if we had both Jamie and Carl, they'd be able to balance each other out really well. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. We didn't choose Kevin. Because of a lot of red flags that came up. He's really involved in athletics, which is great, but as a RA, which he only applied for, that would be really tough to balance out because he already has such a huge involvement with the athletics, which takes a lot of his time, and he just doesn't really have the best reputation, so we decided to not go with him.
We also did not choose Scott because of his fraternity involvement, just because he's always with parties and really rowdy, and it seemed like he wouldn't be a good influence on the kids.
We did it, guys!
Is there any final closing instructions?
Nope, that was
I think
it.
so, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you!
Thanks, John!
Auf Wiedersehen.
Cheers!